is my thing. 20-gallon bubble bags, ice water extraction. I've put literally metric tons through my bubble bags over the past couple of years. Been getting more into the machine wash, the dabbable stuff. The terpene profile is just unbelievable. But there's a legitimate place for solventless, including bubble hash, in the upcoming cannabis market for sure. The earthy, crunchy flatbreads like it because they can say it's solventless, and it's more economical to make BHO or even CO2. But bubble hash will be a niche in the upcoming market. It'll be on shelves places. As soon as it's economical to do so, it'll be more widespread, like it is in California and Oregon. I learned bubble hash in the Redwoods outside of Santa Cruz, and we did 250 pounds of trim in a week. We picked all the smalls all the smalls out of it, sold them for $400 a pound and paid for the trim, and then we worked till we couldn't stand up no more, for about a week. And they were pressing their hash into blocks at that time because drying it was always an issue if you had lots of it. Drying your bubble is a huge thing, whether you're microplaning or just you're freezing and microplaning or just sieving it. Nowadays, people are even pouring it off like a BHO pour without squeezing it at all. It's a lot of different things, like little aspects to bubble hash that you just got to pick up from experience, and it's really hard to just tell somebody, because it's really different. It's different for every strain and every set of bags, every micron, whoever is growing the material that you're using. Ideally, I like to pre-wash all my material in just ambient temperature water, run it through a 220 bag, which is a blue bag in the bubble set. And if I'm trying to show somebody that nothing really comes out of it but dirt, I'll throw a 25 under there, just to be like, yo, look at all this dirt. But that in itself will clean up bubble hash quite a lot. A lot of people like to freeze it fresh. I don't, just because it's way too sticky. The consistency sucks. You got to get it way too cold. Ideally, the best thing to do for me with your material is cut it and dry it to the point where it's going to go into a jar, and then freeze it and run it that way. Or before you even freeze it, I would pre-wash it, not freeze it at all. Once it's to that point. Freezing it, not freezing it, that's an argument that happens between hash makers. It's been happening for many years. Using something like dry sift with like multi-layered tables, that's where some of the higher full melt is coming out of. Is multi-layered tables under temperature-controlled conditions. For bubble hash, when you're running bubble hash, you want your water temperature right around 39 degrees just for density. You get the best separation at that temperature. If you can just use like a little handheld temperature gun to figure out where you're at as far as temp goes. And then using multiple food bags is another thing. I mean, the more cleanup bags you have above where your hash is going to be at, 190 micron, 160 micron, you'll be pulling, if you double up on a 160 bag or a 190 bag, you can pull a melt at 120 microns. And for me, when I first started bubble hash, 120 micron was like a food grade bag. It's something that we're making food with. Lots of people even throw their higher microns away, their 190 or their 160, but it's something you can throw into a coconut oil and give away to people for nothing. And with like some of the hype that comes along with this higher bubble, like specifically like third gen bubble or any nug run bubble out west at like an event, it'll be upwards of $100 a gram. Just because like how much does a pound of pot cost? You take a pound of pot, turn it into bubble hash, have to sell it for that much money. There's not too many people out on the East Coast yet that appreciate higher bubble hash for what it is yet. It'll happen. But while we have dispensaries that are still, struck with PM and botrytis issues. Yeah, I mean, if the shops grow mids, they're not going to make decent bubble hash. It's just like, you can make food with it. take it in alcohol, wash it, and turn it into distillate. But you know, if you have garbage material, like it's not going to be good to turn it into bubble hash. You know, it doesn't wash out gross pesticides or things like that. Chachi knows. But yeah, I mean, I learned in the Redwoods. I come from the black market. You know, before anybody was doing rosin, we were scraping the gunk off the plates that dude was putting in the toaster and using a jack to press into, you know, 112 gram hash blocks, shipping them back east for, you know, $2.50 an ounce. People don't like the fact that imports exist, but until there are large-scale depth houses here and people that know what they're doing running them, you're going to have imports. And when the price of fish is like $600 a pound in North Cal and Oregon, you know, what do people pay for paper pot here? $1,800, $2,000, something like that.
24.
Yeah, $2,400. That's insane. You know, come up to Maine, come up to Germination, $50 ounces straight up. But yeah, I'm here to talk about bubble hash. I love bubble hash. I take it and I mix it with tobacco, regardless of how good it is, just because that's my favorite way to smoke it. The trick and the key, I think, to getting bubble a little bit like more widespread is just trying to talk people into doing it instead of making BHO. But in order to do that, it just needs to be known that higher melts, there needs to be a better grading system for it, first of all. Bubble Man's star system is kind of dated. And when we have some like more, like the higher bubble that's winning competitions out west, it looks like white sand. You know, third gen's at Skittles entry, and this was 2 years ago. It was a pile of white powder. You know, it's supposed to be hash. You know, you look at some of the other entries, and they're, you know, brown Frenchy hash. You know, and like YouTube is a great resource for bubble. You know, some of the early spray through tech, like Matt Rise, he's very, very good. Nowadays, Nicotine is about the best that I've seen. Bobby Nuggs showed me some bubble hash at the Freedom Rally that I would have sworn was rosin. You know, it takes lots of practice, and lots of practice requires lots of expensive nugget. You know, and who has lots of expensive nugget that doesn't want to just sell it to the flatbreads? You know, I know a couple of years ago, like the best growers that I knew were getting $4,500. $4,500 a pound for their pot, untrimmed, just hanging. That's insane. That's not economical for somebody like me to go and buy and turn into bubble. But like the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast is that here you can't just go. People don't just have storage containers full of trim. You know, you can't just go buy 500 pounds of trim. You know, take me out west, I'll be in front of 500 pounds in 20 minutes. You know, land me in Eureka. You know, you can buy trim in Northern California for, $10 to $100 a pound. You can buy it on Craigslist. That's what you guys are going to be seeing sooner or later is ads on Craigslist for bulk trim, and you're just going to go, make all the same mistakes that somebody like me did in NorCal, and they'll end up buying, contractor bags full of BHO second run, for whatever, $20 a pound. But it's a legit thing. If you're into learning bubble hash, the best thing to do aside from YouTube is to go to California, specifically Northern California or Southern Oregon. There are some really, really good bubble people here. Mr. Bond, some other people that aren't as loud. Lots of people that Nugs knows are, top of the food chain as far as bubble goes. I mean, guys up in Maine, Joey Blaze, Top Secret, Monster Mike, washing that garlic. I've seen some bubble hash in the past 3 weeks that I haven't personally produced that high of a grade. And I have, like I said before, I have absolutely ran metric tons of trim. I've slept in sheds full of contractor bags full of trim. You guys will see this. I think the first place that these industrial depth houses will happen is Maine, and it's happening already. There's folks that are, old school medical program type people that are really about helping patients that are trying to fight against this. But when you're fighting a multi-million-dollar, who knows, corporation-backed, industrial warehouse type situation. It's very odd. That's Glenn and Catherine Lewis, who are like the most solid people that I've ever met. Taking people off of things like methadone and Suboxone with high-dose RSO. They're up at Homegrown Healthcare with Maine. You guys should check them out. But yeah, this is about Bubble Hash. It's great for rosin. It's clean. Get it tested, average bubble tests, they range from 20% all the way up to 70%, terped up. And you guys got any questions about Bubble Hash? I can answer them. What's up, Red?
What is Bubble Hash?
It's kind of like mids. So you take mids and you wash it with hot hits. No, but Bubble Hash, very, very good. We've come a long way in hash, I'll tell you what.
What's the most desirable micron to press into rosin?
73, 90, 73. People like 120 for fatty heads, but if you're pulling fatty heads in that 120, if you're pulling a full melt 120, first of all, you don't want to, I wouldn't crush it into rosin. I'd throw it in tobacco and smoke it. But yeah, when you pull fatter, like larger trichome heads with that cellulose coating on the outside of them, you want to have a wider micron size for your steel bags that you're using for whatever press you're utilizing. Lots of people stick strictly with 25 micron stainless steel mesh, but you lose a lot that way. People wonder why they have dark rosin all the time.
What about the 37 used?
It depends on the strain, man. I mean, you clock a strain by using different microns, different presses, and that just takes material and time. You know that. So if you got material and time, you can clock a specific strain, but the problem is you can't. Who the hell can get the exact same strain, the exact same time, over and over and over again? It's just not until there's, large-scale industrial dep houses everywhere, ran by decent people. Yeah, you won't have that access of material here. I mean, I run BHO, for a dispensary in Maine at a percentage. It's not like, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that can go and just buy trim and process it that way, but it's the difference in price and the fluctuation of this or that. It's outrageous. I mean, you could buy an $800 pound up in Maine right now. You come down here, you have somebody talking about 20, whatever, 100. That's insane. It used to be that difference between California and here at harvest time. But, I mean, the farmers in NorCal know what pot costs now. It's just the people, your friends and neighbors that just smoke weed, that don't really get into it that much, that don't really care what strain it is. They're the ones that need to be educated more as to what it is and what it can do. Like Bubble Hash is excellent for a THCA tincture. The THCA tincture is a pain in the butt to make. The way that I was taught to do it with vegetable glycerin, it's a long-term soak that you have to turn daily. It's just a real pain, but I did it for a pediatric patient one time and it worked. It didn't get him lit, just THCA. Test things. Testing. Somebody earlier was talking about whether it's economical or not. Test everything, but if you're only making small batch things, you have to test everything that you make. So is it worth it to pay $100 every time you do a hash wash and you yield 6 grams or something? Like, it's not worth it. They have these scanners now that are almost, it looks like a duck hunt gun from Nintendo, It's like zapping, it tells you what percentage is whatever your extract is. Bubble hash questions, we've come a long way from Afghanistan, Anybody, I love how the older folks love the black block hash, but the darker the color of any bubble hash, especially like if you grade it by melt. I grade it by melt. How much, whether it's dry sift or anything, how much it melts before it catches fire, right? That's how you grade bubble hash. The darker stuff, if it melts, that's trichome concentration. It's gonna melt. Old Afghani hash that's just block pressed together and catches fire when you put a flame to it. That's not good, man. Like, test that.
Thank you.
It's my food. Like, if if I didn't make coconut oil, I'd take my 160 and my 190 and mix it with my 25 and press it together. Stamp a lightning bolt on it and sell it. You know? But as hash makers and just as general weed people, it is our obligation to give shit away to sick people. You can charge the flat brims lots of money. That's what I do. For what, like, your expertise. If you make amazing gear, you know, you charge what it's worth. I got an OG Kush in my pocket that's easily worth $300 an ounce. You know, that a couple years ago you'd pay $400 an ounce for and be happy for it. Back around Beasters times, shit, you'd never even see that. $375 for East Coast sour diesel. First time I ever saw high grade. And it was Beasters, guys. You know? I never want to see that shit again, ever. You know, there's a hell of a way to come up, but large scale, you know, not compartmentalized, you know, not properly maintained or cured or flushed or stored or anything, just money pocket. You know, that is a possibility here in Massachusetts. There's lots of warehouse space. I don't know if any of you guys here run large grows, but you inevitably run into problems like bugs or PM or whatever the fuck. You gotta compartmentalize your everything. You know, run 20 different strains and 20 different rims. If you have the space and you have the funding, why the hell not? You know, hand trim everything. I don't care if it costs you more money, hand trim it. I don't care if you've got 150 pounds of it, hand trim it. Just, how many of the kids that, you know, the wow factor is still there for them would love to just sit there and trim your butts all day, you know? I wouldn't do it, but, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's $150 a pound in NorCal. If you can trim and you can hold the sign up and you're not a tweaker, you can get paid $150 per pound of pot you trim. And any trimmer worth their salt can rip a pound a day. I bet that cop over there, if we could fucking sit him down at a trim table, they'd rip a pound a day. I don't know if we could. You know? For real. It takes diligence and that kind of shit to do that. Yeah, so any other bubble hash questions? General rad things to say? Hate mail, comments? Kyle, some people call me Elmo. I run a Facebook group called National Trichome Society. And 5 or 6 of a similar name. Feel free to join. I like to make BHO. Come talk to me about BHO. Talk to me about Maine. Talk to me about bubble hash. I don't know if that was 20 minutes, but I appreciate you guys sitting here and listening to my shit. Support the black market because they're more righteous than the moneyed asshats. Also, we give shit away. We're the ones that, when your aunt or your grandmother is sick, we're the ones that, we get the messages that are like, yo, you got RSO? It's like, bro, didn't I see you with like a $30,000 rig the other day? You're asking me for 2 grams of RSO? Are you fucking kidding me? I don't know. I love all you guys. And, you know, just because people smoke pot doesn't mean they have to go on. You know, you got to respect people and be nice to people. But those guys,
nice is good.
And those blue uniforms, they're not our friends. They're being nice, but they're not our friends. Catch them on the road and see how friendly they are.
Depends how fast you're going.
I love you guys. Have a great day. Woo!